Three, two.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rich Medalino. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer for the Montgomery County Government. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm going to be doing the media briefing today as County Executive Elrich is on a foreign mission. He is in Taipei, Taiwan right now to attend the Smart City Summit and Expo. He is joined by Maryland Secretary of State and Montgomery County resident Susan Lee, as well as Council Member Andrew Friedson. They are both attending this event, which is the largest smart city trade show in Asia, which features, believe it or not, 170,000 visitors and more than 500 matchmaking sessions. Of course, these trips give us an opportunity to both learn about what other communities are doing around the world to improve technology and efficiency and for their lives of their residents, businesses, and visitors, as well as to meet with leaders of foreign companies and foreign universities who are looking to do business in the United States. We've been trying very hard to recruit foreign businesses to consider Montgomery County as their destination for their U.S. operations. But we often have to do that by traveling abroad. We are also aggressively traveling domestically in partnership with our economic development unit, the Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation. We will also be attending very large international biohealth events in Boston and San Diego. So, a few weeks ago, we closed our Technology Innovation Fund and Founders Fund. The $7 million Technology Innovation Fund will provide grants up to $200,000 to small businesses trying to develop proprietary technology with high growth potential. The $3 million Founders Fund grants up to $100,000 to early and growth stage entrepreneurs from historically underrepresented communities. 144 different companies applied for commercialization grants, and those decisions will be coming out shortly. Of course, we use this money to help grow our tax base and to provide opportunity to county residents who are looking to expand their businesses. So, as you all know, our big news organizationally was last Friday, the county executive released his recommended operating budget for FY26. The budget that will begin on July 1st of 2025 and run through June 30th of 2026. This is a challenging year to submit the budget, not because revenues haven't continued to perform strongly. They have. It's because this year, unlike in prior years, we really don't know what the state is going to do. And of course, the federal government remains a huge question mark. So right now, we are waiting for the General Assembly session to conclude. It is scheduled to end on April 7th. The proposals the governor put forward at the beginning of the session to both raise revenues for the state and for local governments, as well as to shift some responsibilities to local governments, has yet to be taken up by the General Assembly. So we still don't know what is going to happen as a result of those measures. So the county executive's budget that he submitted and presented to the county council reflects the current state law. So his approach to the Montgomery County Public Schools, which the superintendent asked for a $296 million increase. We are taking into consideration the growth in state aid. He had forecasted $11 million, where in fact the governor's budget includes $66 million. So we deducted that from his total request and are providing $250 million more. That would provide a range of additional opportunities for the school system, from actually meeting its contractual obligations to its staff, all of the teachers, librarians, para-educators, bus drivers, all the different people that work for the school system and the contracts that they have, as well as to meet the demands of growing schools, our community schools, as well as expanding special education services. This would mean more special ed students, more para-educators, across the board. It would help every student across our school system, not just those benefiting and qualifying for special education services. So this is an exciting proposal, and one that the school board and the superintendent would remind actually help fund our legal obligations to provide special education services. So the county executive was proud to be able to put this funding, which would be the single largest ever increase for the Montgomery County Public Schools, and his budget, as well as to meet all of our contractual services or contractual arrangements with our three employee groups, the Fraternal Order of Police, the International Association of Firefighters, and the Municipal County Government Employees Organization, MCGEO, and the contracts that we have with them. So all of that is before the county council. Of course, in order to make it all work, the county executive did propose a 3.5 cent increase in our property tax, not percent. That would the quick way to do the math is it's a $35 increase for every $100,000 in value for our property taxpayers. So if you have a $500,000 house, that would be $275 an increase. The county executive is also proposing an increase in our general property tax credit, which of course in Montgomery County, we would call a property tax credit the income tax offset credit, even though that goes on your property tax, but it's the general credit that all owner-occupied housing in the county receives. He's proposing increasing that from $692 to $860. That would have the impact for of offsetting the increase in the property tax bill for all residences valued at $495,000 and below. In fact, if you're much below that, you would wind up actually having a reduced bill. So he recognizes that property assessments are going up, but in the end, that would offset the increase for the rate that he's proposing, and it would provide relief to everybody, no matter what the value of the home. Everyone who's in an owner-occupied residence gets the property tax credit. You can see it labeled that on your bill. Important things to note: the public hearing for the county executive's proposal before the council, those hearings will occur on April 7th and April 8th. Those are the two general public hearings for everyone to come forward and talk about. If you like something in the budget, if you don't like something in the budget, if you're for this additional education spending, if you're against the property tax increase, this is your chance. In the afternoon and evenings of April 7th and 8th to sign up. You can go to the county website, go under county council, and you can sign up to testify and share your thoughts. The county executive doesn't know, quite frankly. It was very clear to everybody during his press conference last week on the budget as to whether or not the council will need to move forward with this property tax increase. This is the only way to make everything balance and for us to continue to have $800 million in reserve, 10% above our legal mandate. But we're also trying to figure out what happens with the General Assembly session and the negotiations between the legislature and the governor. Unfortunately, because of the calendar and when Easter falls and the general spring break for the county and for the school system and the council's calendar, the hearings this year on the 7th and 8th happen to coincide with the last day of the legislative session. So there are a lot of issues that are before the county council that they're going to try to reconcile by the time they have to pass the budget, which is the Thursday before Memorial Day. So that last week of May. So this is the opportunity. If the county executive did not propose a revenue increase, then it would be foreclosed upon for the county council to actually have a public hearing. So while he firmly believes in this and believes in this commitment to the school system, in making this historic commitment and trying to get the school system back to where on a per pupil basis, adjusted for inflation, we were in 2010. We adjusted for inflation are still not spending per pupil what we were spending as a school system in 2010. But because of the Great Recession and inflation, we've lost that spending power. He's trying to get us back to where we were and to meet all of these the legal commitments to the children of our school system. In addition, this budget puts money into public safety. With our contract with the FOP, we would be able to offer police officers starting salaries of $70,000, trying to recruit the best police officers, investing in new technology, adding. We just launched our 4th drone program covering Bethesda. So we're in downtown Silver Spring, Wheaton, Bethesda, Gaithersburg. We would add one in Germantown. New forensics data for our police, new equipment and services in our fire department, closing some of our perpetual funding gaps in the fire department. Record funding for affordable housing, with $75 million alone going to the construction of new affordable housing. So on a variety of fronts, this budget meets the needs of our community, our public schools, public safety, public health. The county executive has proposed keeping funding going for some of our homeless prevention and services programs, as well as other initiatives in the Department of Health and Human Services, our largest county department. Where the federal government has been backsliding on some of our commitments, he's stepping up and making sure that we need to continue some of the funding that are critical to keeping our community safe, healthy, and prosperous. So with that on the budget, I'm going to pause and see if anyone has a question about the budget and fiscal issues before we move on to some other issues. If you can raise your hand. All right. I don't see any hands up from reporters right now, so I will just keep going on. And of course, that's not your only chance when we get to the end. Feel free to ask me those questions. I do want to point out that there is a chance for Councilmember Jawando, who's the chair of the Education and Culture Committee. He's been having forums, as is the tradition for the chair of that committee, with the superintendent of the school system, as well as the president of Montgomery College. The next one will be on Tuesday, April 1st at Rockville High School. They had one Monday night at Springbrook High School and one last week that was virtual. Tonight, the county council, with a whole bunch of partners, including the county executive, will be having a webinar on supporting displaced federal workers. Tonight's forum will feature Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown. He will be discussing worker rights and the legal challenges that he is helping to lead nationwide to the Trump administration's illegal firings of federal employees. So here's a chance to learn from the Attorney General and hear a little bit about what's going on. Again, this information is available on the county's website under the county council. So feel free to sign up and participate in this webinar. There are lots of exciting things happening across the region. I know Frederick County is having a in-person job fair that features lots of employers from around the state of Maryland. Montgomery College is having one aimed at the life sciences coming up. So event after event, trying to inform the public about what's happening, what we're doing to try to stand up to these illegal actions by this administration, as well as opportunities that people may, who are looking for jobs, federal employees, former federal employees, other people are just interested in jobs. There are these opportunities happening all over. You can find out more from our website, from the county, from the governor's website, from a variety of our local elected officials, our congressional delegation. It's all out there, and You can find on our resource page, you can find all the links to those different events. So you may not know, I spend a lot of time annoying all my colleagues talking about the regional drought. Believe it or not, 27% of our county is in a severe drought right now. All of our county is in a moderate drought. So what a perfect time to talk about World Water Day celebration. Our first ever World Water Day celebration will be occurring this Saturday. It will be occurring in the Wheaton Regional Park from 11 to 3. Guided nature walks, exhibits about the environment, a piñata exhibit for family fun, Youth Trout Fishing Day, where you can find out more about how to fish. The Maryland Department of Natural Resources Mobile First Catch Fishing Center will provide actual fishing gear to borrow and lessons. There'll also be youth fishing events at Martin Luther King Jr. Recreational Park in Silver Spring and the Northwest Branch Steam Valley Park in Ashton. Understanding about the water in the world is critical to our environment and to our future. So come learn about water. We are doing this with our Department of Environmental Protection, Montgomery Parks, Impact Silver Spring, the Latino Health Initiative, Montgomery Housing Partnership. So lots of different people who are helping us do this. In addition, this weekend, one of the great fun events for the county, MoComCon is happening. MoComCon. I don't know if where I'm putting the accent, but it is our celebration of all things comic books, art, storytelling. It will be this weekend in Germantown, on Saturday at the Black Rock Center for the Arts, and then on Sunday moving just next door to the Germantown Library. So if you are interested in those things, show up 1 to 5 on Saturday, 10 to 2 on Sunday. You'll be able to find neighbors who are interested in cosplay and dress up, learn about comics, about art, about storytelling. It's a wonderful community event that's gone on for many years, sponsored by the absolutely wonderful Montgomery County Public Libraries and many other community partners. So if you're looking for a good time and something different, dress up. Don't dress up. Go to Germantown on Saturday and Sunday. And we of course want to thank our partners in doing this, the Black Rock Center for the Arts, as well as Friends of the Library, Montgomery County. So with that, as you heard me say during the budget, the Montgomery County Department of Health and Human Services is our largest county agency. It is unlike any other service providing department in a county government in Maryland. Why? Because we are the only county in Maryland that operates a Department of Health and Human Services and has for several decades, which has allowed us to take over leadership and accountability for providing these sorts of services to Maryland, to Montgomery County residents, to businesses, to visitors. But it allows us to actually deal with all of our needs and through local decision-making and local funding and local rules. We are so thrilled that the annual report of county health rankings done by the University of Wisconsin, clearly an organization that is in our pocket, Population Health Institute and the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, two groups that have nothing but objectivity when it comes to Montgomery County, Maryland. They evaluated more than 30 factors that impact health. Metrics weigh health outcomes and underlying factors relative to counties all over their state and to counties nationwide. Montgomery County is better than average county in Maryland. Of course, I want to say it's the best. We have some of the lowest rates of premature death, highest rates of well-being. While this year's report does not provide a ranking for each county within the state, we know we're number one. But we rank very high. We do because we have strong partnerships with our hospitals, because we have community-based nonprofit providers who work with us, many other stakeholders, and because we have a truly outstanding, world-class leadership team at the Montgomery County Department of Health and Human Services, between our health officer, Dr. Keisha Davis, and our division chief for public health services, Dr. Nina Ashford, who joined us from leading the federal government and some of their health initiatives, who's now helping us lead our issues. And she's going to talk a little bit about why we do such a great job in Montgomery County and why the health of our residents is so good compared to many others.
Thank you, Mr. Madaleno. And I am excited to be here to talk a little bit about the annual county health rankings. As you just heard, we are yet again one of the healthiest counties in the nation, and one of the healthiest counties. I will agree with Mr. Madaleno. I'm going to say the healthiest county in the state of Maryland. And so this is a great achievement. I'm excited to talk a little bit about it with you this afternoon. The data is available at the state and county level, and it's broken down into two main areas: population health and well-being, which focuses on health outcomes, and community conditions, being the second, which examines many of the factors that influence those health outcomes. And I think it's important to note that when you read the report, you'll see it's a snapshot, but it really is important to know that much of the review actually covers several years, recent years, including the height of the pandemic, which we just celebrated the 5th anniversary of. So this underscores that during the pandemic years, both the health systems and personal health habits of our residents and all of our hospital partners and community partners contributed significantly to better overall health of our population, particularly during this very challenging time. So we should all be incredibly proud. And I want to highlight some of the places that Montgomery County has and continues to shine compared to the state and the nation as a whole. In addition to some of the areas that Mr. Madaleno just shared, we also have healthier behaviors, which include things like lower percentage of people who smoke. We have lower obesity rates. We have higher physical activity rates. We have higher vaccination rates, which we are continuing to still focus on and push despite being in this new phase of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is still not too late to get your flu shot. And we also have lower air pollution. And I think, that again, that is a testament to the entire county and county executive and county council's leadership, our climate action plan. All of these pieces fit together and help us achieve these overall outcomes. These high performance and health outcomes, they're supported by many positive achievements in our social determinants of health. And as a reminder, the social determinants of health are things that are where we live, work, play, and pray. So we know that the county performs higher than average in our median income, in the education levels of our residents, in our high school graduation rates. So Mr. Madaleno just talked about the county executive's recommended budget and the additional funding for MCPS. Again, all of these contribute to better health, our lower unemployment rates. And it's important to acknowledge that while Montgomery County continues to shine in many aspects of health, we know that disparities still do exist, and not all of our residents get to enjoy these outcomes equally. And so we are dedicated within the Department of Health and Human Services to continue to partner with both our community partners, our clinical partners, our school partners, our environmental partners, to identify innovative solutions to really continue to address the disparities and ensure all of our residents are able to achieve and enjoy the excellent outcomes that we see highlighted in these reports. Last but not least, I just want to highlight that these results are not possible without the incredible partnerships that exist. This really is a county-wide effort, whether you are in the Department of Health and Human Services, whether you are a member of our safety net clinics, whether you are a social service agency that partners to provide all of the critical services to our residents, our youth serving organizations, our schools, and most importantly, our residents. One of the things that the rankings highlight is community engagement and community involvement. And Montgomery County has just an incredible commitment of the residents who live here, and their active involvement in the health and well-being and the civic engagement, whether that is through volunteering, whether that is participating in a budget hearing, whether that is in participating as a member of a board, committee, or commission. All of these actions together are why we are able to see the positive health outcomes that we have. So we look forward to our continued work to achieve optimal health for all of our residents. And thank you as we celebrate these great outcomes. Thank you, Mr. Madaleno.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ashford. You raised two good points. Well, you raised many points, but I wanted to build on two of them. And I also want to let reporters know if you have questions, feel free to raise your hands now. I wanted to use this as a way to remind people that as part of the county executive's budget plan, we continue to have free access to our rec centers. So if you want to join a gym, you can actually go to a county rec center free of charge as a county resident and use all those facilities there. It covers everything but our aquatic facilities where there's still a nominal fee to join one of our county pools. And the county executive is proposing moving right on to free fares. That's both for equity access, but hey, we have clean air. We have clean air because as a region, as a community, we're dedicated to mass transit and avoiding single rider gas powered vehicle trips and walking to get to a bus to then walk to get to the office, all part of a healthy lifestyle. So free fares, free access to our rec centers. And remember, our libraries are fare free. So if you want to borrow a book in order to learn about a healthy lifestyle, you can go to our county libraries, get it, and not worry if you're a day or two late with having to pay a fine. So, and the other thing that I wanted to talk about healthy lifestyles and the work that we've done, this work about public health, whether it's in our county government, but broadly speaking around the country, is a true story of the American success of government intervention. You know, when you look back at 1900, right, what was the leading cause of death amongst Americans? I believe it was tuberculosis, a disease that due to interventions in public health, we have wiped out over and over at a time when public service, when government is criticized and ridiculed and demeaned. Actually, the American public health system is a shining example of positive government interventions that have allowed us to live long, healthy lives. Clean water, clean air, the fact that we don't worry when we turn on the tap to get water, we're getting healthy water. When we have access to vaccines and treatment, it is all due to the incredible interventions of government, of people like Dr. Keisha Davis and Dr. Nina Ashford and their mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, who were leaders in this efforts that have changed this country. So at a time when people are looking at government and shaking their head, they should remind themselves that government has done and continues to do great things every day that help our communities thrive and grow, and we should be proud of that, and we should be very careful about just tossing it out to some whim of a billionaire in order to cut taxes. So the Montgomery County government, as part of the state, our partners at the federal level, the agencies that are here, we deliver amazing value, commitment, and outcomes to our residents, and in fact, to the residents of the world. When you think about what has happened at NIH, FDA, the NIST, the Department of Energy, the things that call Montgomery County home, we lead the globe. So, and in fact, on that front, next week when the county executive is back on his media briefing, he's going to be joined by Dr. Francis Collins, true hero to the American people, the former head of the National Institutes of Health. It's going to talk a little bit about speaking about public health and the importance of investment, and especially in the National Institutes of Health, and why our community and the people of this country should be very concerned about what is happening and what they need to do in order to protect these investments, because it is about literally, it is about our lives and the medicine, the interventions, the healthcare that we receive. So sorry for that rant, but Dr. Ashford got me all excited about public health, because we need to constantly remind people that the services that we provide, the Montgomery County Public Schools, Montgomery College, all of the different divisions of the Montgomery County government, including our Department of Health and Human Services, our police department, our fire department. We do amazing things every day. And we do amazing things to help people on what is often their worst day, when someone is having a heart attack, when someone is having a family crisis, when someone is having to pay a very large bill to have their house renovated, when someone is feeling they've been ripped off, and they're turning to the county for help in consumer protection for a range of things. We do amazing things at great value for our taxpayers. So with that, I'll see if I've exhausted everyone on this phone call or if any reporters have any questions. Ginny, I'm supposed to, much like I think, oh my God, I even chased Ginny Bixby away. Oh, Ginny, you have a question? I was worried. I mean, it's like
Yes, I had my hand
it's
raised.
it's like a
Um,
press conference.
I
What
don't
would
I
happen at
don't
okay. Go ahead, Ginny.
it goes right in line with your praise of how important it is to have the government in our public health. Although I don't know if you can answer this question for me. Dr. Ashford or Dr. Davis might be able to. I was wondering, I know a couple weeks ago there were some updates on our flu rates were really high. Do we have an update on that?
Yes, so we are starting to see a slight decline in our flu rates, but we are still encouraging folks to practice good prevention and hygiene. If you're sick, stay home, hand washing. As I said, it's still not too late to get a flu shot, even though it feels beautiful outside. So still practicing those core public health prevention strategies to stay safe.
Thank you. Good to hear.
All right. Anyone else with a question? Do you want to point out Washington Capitals first place in the NHL right there? Talk about good health. That helps the health of the community. So, all right. Well, thank you, everybody. Remember, we will remember tonight's forum webinar featuring Attorney General Anthony Brown. Look for more news about upcoming events to help the community, especially federal employees, displaced federal contractors with different opportunities. And of course, next week's media briefing, you want to sign up now to make sure you hear Dr. Francis Collins. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Dr. Ashford. And everyone have a absolutely beautiful look at that weather Wednesday afternoon, even if we are in a severe drought.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.